Hey, Nick.
What's up, Tys?
Oh, just enjoying some October
Sunshine.
spookiness.
Oh, spookiness. Yeah.
No, and the sunshine. It's quite a lovely day.
It
Kind of ruins the Halloween vibe that we're going for.
That's the thing. Things are scarier for me now in the daytime. If you stick it in the daytime, you can't run. It's scary.
It's a good point.
Don't you think?
Oh, yeah, no, we're good.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought
Puppy start. But hello and welcome to Nic Tyson Videotape. My name is Nicholas. My friend over there is Tys.
Oh, hey, guys.
Gang.
It's, what episode number is it, Nick?
79.
79. So we're doing our special October Spook-isodes at the moment. Our month dedicated entirely to horror films. We've got a very exciting episode today. What are we doing today, Nicholas?
Well, it's a movie that's been on the list. It's on everyone's list, Tyson, this one.
Yes.
We're doing 1977's Suspiria.
We are indeed the Italian horror masterpiece from Dario Argento.
Question mark. Masterpiece? Really?
But we're very excited to be talking about that. If you wanted to check out what we did last week, that was the first of our October Spook-isodes this year, and we had a look at Wes Craven's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
That was a lot of fun, that episode. So by all means, go check it out to get your October fix. We've got a lot of exciting things coming this month, don't we, Nick?
That's true, and you can find our October fixes on most podcast streaming services. The main one probably is iTunes. We look at our stats, and a lot of people have a look at it on iTunes, which is great because there's a place where you can rate, review, star, subscribe, like us, poke us, emoji us with a horror face thing.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Just fill the comments with just like emojis. That'd be cool. But yeah. Other than that, we're on all the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
We are all of them.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, yeah. That's it. We are not on Snapchat.
Nope.
And that's about it.
That is about it.
And we're on YouTube. If you wanna have a look at us on YouTube, you're just listening to. We don't have anything visual that you can watch yet.
Yeah, you just listen to the episode, but you do it through YouTube.
Do it through YouTube.
What else do you want? You want pictures? What are you talking about? What is that nonsense?
You get the pictures on Instagram.
That's it.
You want to look at us? You look at us on Instagram. Exactly.
Excuse me. And also we've got some exciting things coming up in the month of October. We've got a certain franchise that we're going to be taking a little look at towards the end of the month. Yep. We've got some. We're looking at one of my favorite authors.
True.
At some point this month, so that's going to be exciting. I think we've got one other thing as well, don't we?
Is there something else? I think there's something else.
We've got 5 episodes we're going to do during October because we're going to treat the listeners to a bonus.
A bonus one. Well, because last year didn't have as many weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Am I missing something? I thought we had something else planned.
2, 3, 4, 5. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, you're right. You've said it all because today is the bonus.
Hang on, no, I only said 2 more things though.
So Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes, which we've done. Today we're doing Suspiria. We are looking at
Mr. Author.
Yes.
And Versus. Oh no, we've combined Versus with the author. Remember?
So we've got a blank space.
All of our listeners are really confused right now.
We've got a blank space. We're gonna have to. That's going to be exciting. I thought we picked something else. Anyway, well, that's exciting. Well, before we do any of our Spook-isode fun.
Yeah.
Should we get into some trailers, Nick?
Let's get into some trailers.
Okay.
Let's do that. All right, here we go.
Everybody's talking trailers. Well.
Indeed.
Well, indeed. It's what a week, ladies and gentlemen.
It is dry as a bone out there. It's dry. Dry enough that if you were to drink gherkin juice, it's not going to help you. It's not going to help.
Oh, that's good for cramps, I hear.
I've heard that's good for things. That's why I said it.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
There was really nothing this week.
Nothing at all.
Of any great note.
But we did, hilariously enough, as we said last week, there's always a horror trailer out there.
There is always a horror trailer. And I'll tell you what, this is how slim pickings it was. We got this close to talking about a YouTube original movie about rap battles.
And we're not going to do that to you. We have standards. They may be low standards, but we've got standards. We have standards on this show. I tell you what,
we do like to think so. But yeah, so we're going to talk about a couple of different horror trailers. Well, one of them is more of a thriller.
A thriller-ish, yeah.
So let's talk about that one first. I can't even remember the name of that, though.
It's called Welcome Home.
Thank you.
I think this is the place.
Welcome home.
Better than your hotel?
You have all the privacy you could ever want.
It's like we're the only two people in the world. What's wrong?
I can't stop seeing it. You and him. Cat.
I can't stop crying.
We came here to fix this, right? We're not gonna leave until we do. Then look at you. Hey, what the hell are you doing here?
Speak of the devil, and he will come.
You need to leave right now. There is another way this could go, isn't there?
You're always in my dream.
You know what I love about rabbit? The hunt. You lure it in.
I know what you did.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Make it feel safe. And then the trap snaps. The look in its eyes.
My heart belongs to you.
All right. And what a trailer it was.
It's a trailer.
It definitely is a trailer.
It's starring our man Aaron Paul, science bitch.
Yes. Well, look, I mean, not being a huge, never really getting into the whole Breaking Bad phenomenon.
Oh, really?
I missed the whole Aaron Paul train.
Well, you're missing out. He's he's awesome. I love him.
So I hear. So and people went mad for him, like absolutely mad for him for a little while.
And they were so like, oh my God, what is he going to do next? He's really, really good. And then, he was like, you know what? I want to not think for a bit. And then he went off.
Oh, excuse me, folks. I do apologize.
That is hilarious. Tyson just had to blow his nose. No warning. Yeah. Jesus Christ, we're still going.
Right, I'm good. Look, you know what? It's October.
Please leave all that in.
Oh, it's all staying. What am I going to... As if I'm going to bother editing that out. No, look, it's October. It's hay fever season is well and truly struck. Thank you.
Starting again. Everyone was excited about what he was going to do, and he said, I don't want to think, I want to go off and do nothing. So he did the Need for Speed movie, which everyone was like, okay, now you got that out of your system, give us some gold. And he was like, yeah.
Nah. I think so.
We're still waiting.
That Need for Speed movie is just universally not liked. Yes, like
I believe so.
Okay.
I'm gonna say so. But then again, Suspiria. We'll get to that. Yeah. Well, yeah. This trailer, I think, though, is kind of I'm going to watch this. It's a couple that, if you haven't seen this trailer, it's a couple who take a trip away, kind of get away from their mundane lives to obviously reconnect their marriage, maybe. And the husband, who is Aaron Paul, can't get out of his head that his wife has cheated on him, and I think that's why they're there. And then obviously the locals entice Aaron Paul into some nastiness, and then the guy who leads that kind of comes into the house and kind of tries to break them up a bit. It's a bit weird. It's kind of a throwback to old school, like Basic Instinct thrillers and all of that stuff. Do you reckon?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's definitely got the 90s adult thriller vibe about it. I would say that is a pretty accurate description of it. It's funny though, like it's, I look at a cast like this and and the production values, and it's very similar to what we're going to talk about with our next trailer as well. Yeah. Is that I want these movies to have a market again. I really do. Like good thrillers, like good thrillers. Adult thrillers.
Yeah.
But you're not selling a movie like this to me with Aaron Paul as your lead. You're like, you know what I mean? You're
really?
No,
come on, he can do it.
You're just not. Like, I miss the time when Like, go back, like let's say Fatal Attraction, right?
Yeah.
That was, what year was that? 89, maybe?
You want a Michael Douglas, is what you're saying.
I mean, like,
Did all of them.
It was Michael Douglas. Like, he was huge at that time. This would be like if this popped up and it was starring,
Yeah.
Chris Pine or something. I'm trying to...
What's you think Chris Pine would be better? Is that what you're saying?
Popular, isn't he? No, like, I mean, like someone who is like a really big box office draw would be in just a kind of steamy thriller.
Okay. So maybe if you're sticking Brad Pitt in there, is it gonna up the ante of the thriller? You're saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just can't. I'm sure someone will be able to prove me wrong pretty quickly with a nifty little Google, but I can't remember the last time. Like I definitely can't remember the last time I went and saw just a thriller at the cinema. Oh my God, it's been who knows?
Years.
Who
Years.
knows? Maybe when I saw. I'm trying. Maybe,
Oh, I know mine. Mine was Gone Girl, only because of David Fincher. I'm not going to go because it's a thriller. I'm going to go because it's David Fincher.
I'll give you Gone Girl. Yeah,
give me Gone
works.
Girl. Yeah, but what was the last time you saw? It was Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
I'm thinking it's a while. I'm thinking it's something like. No, I can't think of anything. I'm trying to think of something funny. I don't have the creativity. It's too early in the morning.
You're trying to have a quick whip, yeah?
I was trying to have a really good obscure 90s thriller that no one would really remember, that no one's thought about until this day.
So Two Moon Junction.
Oh my God, Two Moon Junction. That was an AO rated movie that went on television.
Yeah,
adults only.
I think it was called Weeds. Nick Nolte. It was weird. I don't know what it's about. I just remember seeing
Falls. That was the last.
There you go. Yeah. That was a good one. Yeah. But yeah, no one's going to the cinema to see this, Tys, is what we're saying.
Oh no, and look,
no.
This is a sit in the comfort of your own house streaming experience.
And do you think that's why maybe Netflix is just booming at the moment? Because people are like, well, no one's going to see this movie at the cinema, so why don't we pitch this to Netflix and it'll go gangbusters?
I think that's what's
happening.
No, I think that there's that's kind of the crux of the argument that I'm saying I'm disappointed by. Is like I'm more than happy for Netflix to exploit that, and that's their prerogative to do so. But it's a bummer that we can't just go to the cinema to see just grown up movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Because we can, but it's very hard. You have to go at like 10:30 a.m. into the middle of the city to like a small independent theater to see something that isn't. And look, I'm the biggest sucker for blockbusters in the world. I love them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining about that aspect of it. I'm just
no.
It's like, yeah, man, I miss the days where you could go just kind of mix it up a little bit with what you saw at the cinema.
Yeah, man. I remember seeing probably. Oh no, I'm not going to say that because it is kind of big blockbuster. American Beauty. I saw that at the cinema.
Oh yeah, see that'll still happen.
That'll still happen. You reckon? Yeah.
Those kind of films will always play like the big Oscar faithful.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so look, I don't have much to say about this trailer itself. It looks like it's a competently made, could be interesting. I mean, it seems pretty predictable with where we're going.
Exactly.
It's got like a bit of a kind of a sliver aspect to it with the surveillance cameras. There's a good one. That should have been the gag I made before. The last thriller I saw at the cinema was 1995's Sliver. Is it 95?
Jesus.
With Sharon Stone and one of the Baldwins. I am not sure. I believe it was Billy Baldwin? No, it was Stephen Baldwin. No.
Okay.
Hang on.
Sliver.
1993.
It was William Baldwin.
Billy Baldwin. 93. That was interesting. There you go. That was the last movie I saw at the cinema. Yeah,
fair deal.
It's got a bit of that with the cameras. I feel like we didn't get a huge. I haven't seen Emily Ratajkowski in anything but Gone Girl. I don't think I've seen her in anything else.
No.
And she was fine. Like she wasn't in that much. She did what she had to do.
Oh, that's true. She's only starting out new though. She could bring something to the table.
Yeah, I mean, what did she?
She's also in I Feel Pretty, which is the Amy Schumer comedy.
Fair enough.
that no one has seen yet.
That I don't think most people saw.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably never going to watch this in my life. I'm going to be 100% honest with you, Nick.
I'm gonna. Yeah, fair deal. Well, like you said, you didn't jump on the Aaron Paul bandwagon. The trailer didn't do it for you. Why would you go and see it? Unless you hear some critics. The critics is where Tyson, or word of mouth, that's what's going to get Tyson.
If out of nowhere I start hearing people say, hey, man, this is a really, surprisingly, good movie, then maybe. But people have said that about a bunch of movies that I've never seen as well.
Yeah, fair deal.
Citizen Kane is still sitting there and it's DVD shrink wrap. I'm not watching some Aaron Paul straight to Netflix, straight to streaming thriller.
Hell no, we're not going to watch that. That's going to seem a little tedious when we could watch Hurricane Heist for the 56th time.
Hurricane Heist. It must be out soon.
And what?
Someone, please, can we have a Hurricane Heist watch where everyone whoever listens, just keep an eye on it for me.
Just keep an eye on it.
Send me a message when I can watch it for free.
Just go, Hurricane Heist, it's all yours, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair deal. Fair deal. Look, I might watch it if it's free. We'll see what happens. Though.
There you go.
Yeah.
The next one we're going to talk about, Nick. What's the next one called?
One, Tyson, is Isabel.
Isabel.
It's a horror movie one. We'll see what we can do.
Neighbor.
Oh,
hey. Welcome to the neighborhood. Hi. I'm Larissa. Just moved in. Ow! Here! 911! She spent a full minute clinically dead. You need to know there may be some residual effects. I want to see my baby. I need to see Colton. Please. Nosy woman and her daughter. She's obsessed with me. She just stares at me, watches me all day from that window up there.
Do you believe in possession?
I've seen many things.
When you died in the hospital, you went through the gate that divides life and death. Spirit, she's determined, very powerful. Larissa, do not let her in.
Very good.
All right, Isabel. It's not an original piece of work, Tyson.
Look, it's seems derivative of pretty much everything that's come before it.
Yeah, but that's okay.
We got a little bit of Flatliners, and we got a little bit of
got a little bit of Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah. We got a little bit of Insidious. We got a little bit of
Insidious vibes.
Which I mean, obviously was inspired by this. Was inspired by this. Was inspired by this. So it's a bit of a snowball effect with what we're dealing with.
That's all right. But that's okay. It could still be good. You get a little bit of Psycho in there with the old lady next door as well.
Yes.
So it's in watching this trailer, it's a couple who move into a house and the woman is pregnant. She seems to have a miscarriage or something happens during the birth and the baby doesn't survive. Jeez. But it looks like that woman has something to do with what happened, or the entity that is in the house next door has something to do with her losing that baby, and then from there it just goes into a paranormal activity type style thing.
Well, they make the point of saying that the mum was legally pronounced dead for a minute or something.
Right.
And so that is obviously where we get the fun from, because she's brought something back from the other side with her.
Or can she see things now? Like in Constantine, when you die for a little bit and then you're open to that world and now you can see those things.
Ah, that's right.
Let's do Constantine. I love that movie.
That's not a bad movie.
I like that movie.
Yeah, Rachel Weisz gets put under the... What is she? Held under the bathtub
held under the bathtub and then bang, now you can see shit.
Was it just because... Okay, I misread that. Was it just because he killed her for a second and then brought her back?
Yeah.
Oh, was that it?
Yep.
I thought it was some other... I thought it was like a special bathtub or like special water or something.
No. The only reason they use the bath is that it's an easy transition into that world. I think that's the word he uses, or the phrasing he uses. Okay. Water helps.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So, I'll tell you what. I may not have watched Breaking Bad.
Sure.
But I have seen The OC many times.
Right.
Over all 4 seasons.
Wow, really? Many times?
Yeah, many times.
Well, there's only 4 seasons.
It's only 4 seasons. It's pretty cruisy, really. I am a
And how do you
huge
rate-
fan. I was a huge fan of Adam Brody
Okay.
as Seth Cohen. He was everybody's favorite on that show.
Okay.
A wonderful character. He has had a disappointing post-OC career, I would say.
Yep.
I mean, it's funny because he's tried to stay in movies,
He has.
but I
But
feel
not
like
really successfully.
no, yeah,
though.
I feel like Ben McKenzie.
Yeah. Who was
Is
the
that
other
his name?
guy?
Ben McKenzie.
Was that the other guy on OC?
Yeah, I feel like he's doing better, even though he's gone into like TV and animated voiceover and stuff. I feel like he's having a better post-OC career.
Right. Okay.
Anyway,
Adam just looks like a smug. He looks very smug to me.
yeah, look, he's got a smugness about it.
Ben McKenzie's gone off to do Gotham, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's Commissioner Gordon on Gotham.
Yeah, that's right.
And he was Commissioner Gordon or Batman. He's voiced Batman on some animated
Was
series
Batman
and stuff.
before?
Look,
Okay.
look, maybe that's bias because obviously that's stuff that I care about more than other
Yeah,
things.
fair.
But that's it seems like there's more longevity. It feels like he's kind of in the consciousness, whereas Adam Brody is kind of not.
That's true.
But yeah, and it's also got Amanda Crew in this movie,
It does.
who is I just want to shout out a particular kind of favorite of mine that I haven't seen for a very long time. The comedy Sex Drive. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen. No, I haven't.
Is
that good?
It is a deceptively clever and really warm-hearted teen comedy.
Okay.
It's kind of similar. I'd put it up kind of on par with I don't want to say this because I'm worried that if it wouldn't hold up at all.
It's got a backlash.
But
Go
so
on.
hey, we've got our like top tier teen comedies,
Yeah,
from the 90s and early 2000s. We've got the ones. Oh, do you know what it's on par with? It's on par with Fired Up. You ever seen Fired Up?
No, I haven't seen Fired Up. I know the cover very well.
Fired
though.
Up was one of the first films from the guy that made Easy A, Will Gluck, I think his name is.
Oh yeah.
And so Fired Up kind of got thrown away as similar with Sex Drive as being just kind of trashy teen comedies. No one, there's not a lot going on. When you actually watch them, you see that there's quite a lot going on. They're very quite funny and got quite, their heart's in the right place.
Yeah, fair deal.
And so she's the lead in Sex Drive, which is a very funny. Like there's a whole sequence in the middle where they where they visit Amish country.
Okay.
During Rumspringa.
This is what I remember this in the trailer.
Yeah.
I think this is why I remember it.
And it is an incredibly great, like, funny sequence. Seth Green is like the head Amish guy.
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah. And James Marsden's in it. It's all great. Like, if you haven't seen Sex Drive, I thoroughly recommend tracking it down because it's definitely worth it. And watch Fired Up if you haven't already. There you go. That's my
Just don't watch
cents.
Isabel.
But don't watch Isabel. So this thing, the thing that stuck out for me was that because we're in a time where I think filming on digital, I don't think we're quite there yet. I don't think people have figured out exactly how to light and what lenses to use on digital because this looks so flat.
Yeah.
And there is just no. It looked like a commercial. You know what I mean? Like it could be a commercial for a bank, or
a car where it's just really boring and it's like everything's
company.
silver and that's very true.
And so I'm, and look, it might be an aesthetic choice because they want to try and create a cold environment for the horror film, but it doesn't mean that there's just no depth to the image though. Like it's just so dry and it's just kind of like I don't want to look at this for 2 hours. Like,
do you think maybe the director of Isabel needs to watch Suspiria?
Well, I mean, if
in contrast to the color palette that we're about to get into,
if he wants to just have some fun with colors, then by all means, it's probably a great place to start. But I don't know. Sorry, you go.
Yeah. No. Using a color in a way that's going to elicit a response. What they're doing in Isabel is probably not the best way to go about it, only because it's just looking bland. It just looks bland to me.
It looks bland. The effect of the red eyes on the Isabel character is not particularly intimidating in any way. There's no...
Yeah.
You can watch... I can watch a movie. It doesn't speaking of the Insidious movies, because that's probably the closest thing that I'm comparing it to. You watch Insidious or oh god, even The Conjuring, for instance. Like, but I mean, obviously they're much higher budget films.
They are,
but well, not the Insidious films. They were made pretty low budget. I think Conjuring was higher budget. But they just look so great. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot of color in them either. There's coldness and drabness there to try and inspire the mood.
And Conjuring has a lot of nice uses of browns and blacks.
Yeah,
and
we get
things
some
like
earthy
that at the
tones
time,
and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's like it's a zillion times easier to look at than this kind of flat drab. Just
You know, it looks like a Gillette ad.
Oh man,
Gillette razor.
Jesus, that's. I think those ads are pretty evocative. So,
oh really?
Well, you got the water bouncing off the razor. You've got the close-ups of all the stuff. Like,
Think about the old ads though, or maybe it's like a Oral B ad. Like this is your dentist.
It's the Oral B dentist guy. Yeah,
we can't show his face for some fucking reason, and I never knew why. Why can't you show his face?
I don't know. Do you reckon that was just a joke and we all took it really seriously as kids?
Yeah, I never got it. I'm like, yeah, we can't see his face. I still don't get it. Give me the Oral B ad where the guy's head flips back like that. And you go, because our heads can't do this, we can't.
That's right. It was the cartoon, wasn't it?
Yes.
I remember that one. That was cute. I liked that. Yeah, but what I was going to say
was YouTube Oral B ads, not watch Isabel.
Poor Isabel. No, there's a jump scare that they try to set up in the trailer that is about as effective as the Oral B Man in the Mirror, because it's a mirror gag. But I might as well be watching the Oral B ad
because it did nothing. Yeah. I like that we're doing our jump scares now because it happened in the Nun trailer, which I want to see the Nun, even though the critics are tearing it apart. Where instead of the jump scare with the monster coming out of nowhere, we're just letting the monster sit on screen and we're kind of just dealing with it and it's getting closer to us. I like that. I've seen 4 or 5 trailers now which are horror trailers that have done that effect instead of the, jump scare.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we're past it. Maybe it's time. Maybe we're kind of moving on into the new, because the whole jump scare trend, I mean, like, it's not a trend. It's always been around, but yeah, but I think it's really kind of, it's being misused. It's been misused forever. I mean, obviously it's a thing, but especially in trailers. Like, I can't remember I keep waiting for trailers to do that last jolt thing. You know, they did that forever.
They do they do the title of the movie, they do the credits, who directed it, who's in it, who's producing, all that stuff. And then after the trailer goes, coming soon on August 29th. And then they go, and I'm like, seriously?
And then some metal music playing or something, and like something like that, and some flashing light, like, quick cut kind of stuff. I feel like I haven't seen that for a little while, or am I just being too kind?
No, good. I'm glad we have. No, I believe we haven't seen it for a while. That's because everyone was like, okay, we're kind of all doing the same thing. How about you do it and we'll all do something else?
Yeah, because even this trailer for Isabel, which is probably going to be a garbage movie. No offense to this movie, like I'm
no one's going to see
the fact.
I'm sorry.
It's it could be great. It's probably not. But even that had the kind of sense to not do a jump scare at the end there. Like they had it just crawling over the bed and her eyes getting darker.
Which is what I liked. I think they're going to hold on.
It's an unsettling image, and it makes you curdle a little bit. So it's that's more effective than the sudden jump scare, surely. Yeah. That slow kind of like chill that you get when you're just forced to watch something. Mm. That's Isabel.
Moving on.
I don't think we've got anything else we need to talk to about that.
We've got nothing else.
Talk about. So why don't we move on?
Let's start off. Let's get into the Italian horror that we're about to immerse ourselves.
Oh Lord.
Okay. I need to pee.
Okay.
And now our feature program.
All right, here we are, Nicholas.
All right.
So we've done it. Is this your first ever Italian horror film?
This is, yes, I believe so.
Never watched a giallo?
I've never watched a giallo. No,
me neither.
No.
It's I went through, and I think I might have mentioned that I was fairly certain that I had watched a Dario Argento film prior to this.
Yeah.
I hadn't. I was looking at it.
No, looking down his list, I hadn't either.
I think maybe his name popped up as I think
a producer in something?
I think he had the Quentin Tarantinos about him for a little while, where his name would pop up on random horror movies on DVD, and it would say executive produced from Dario Argento. And I think I've just maybe associated some random things that I've seen with him because he must have been an executive producer or something.
He's written a lot more things than he's directed.
Maybe
that's what it is. I don't know. But going down the list, I haven't seen any. Like I remember Suspiria at the video store, but that's it. I don't. There's nothing else like that comes to mind that I was like, oh yeah.
I don't actually even remember Suspiria at the video store.
Oh really?
Yeah, I don't. It's funny. I don't have a knowledge of Suspiria prior to probably about 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay.
Where when I started being more kind of not started, but when you got to a point on the internet where you could be, you could have conversations, and it was starting to get more. 6 or 7 years ago, I'm obviously completely misreading time. 10 years ago, when the internet was really kind of starting to take off, and it would come up in conversation and stuff. I don't remember ever really seeing it at my video store.
Yeah,
I don't even really remember seeing it much at JB Hi-Fi while I was there. I think.
No, I don't think it was there. I remember our video store because it was old as fuck. Yeah.
So you had it on VHS?
We had it at VHS at our video store. Yeah,
cool.
I remember that, but that was it.
Because I don't think there was even a particularly good release of it here for quite some time until recently, until about a year ago.
Yeah.
When we finally got a restored special edition on Blu-ray. That was kind of. I think that might have been the first. I mean, I don't want to talk out of my ass, but
this would look mint on Blu-ray.
Oh god, it would look like something else, wouldn't it? It's funny. I am really interested to start watching giallo films. I think I will. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like.
Well, now that I know the premise of a giallo film, I like kind of the fact that it's more of a thriller type mystery of what's going to happen, and then. Yeah, there's a killer at the end, and then you find out everything in the end. Like it's a long setup. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, and this I've read some stuff that people argue that this isn't technically a giallo film, Suspiria.
Yeah.
Because it does kind of break some of the rules that giallo sets up. I mean, not every Italian horror film is a giallo film, of course. Obviously,
no, obviously.
But it does. What I'm finding about this genre, I think, and what I'm hoping to find is that it's a very much an experience based genre of film.
Yeah.
Like you're not going into have these very deep characters or really kind of form bonds with these people that you see on the screen.
Yeah.
It's an experience. You're experiencing, and not even so much emotions, but you're experiencing sensations kind of as you watch it, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, it's just tries to kind of poke the right buttons and just kind of make you feel certain things at certain times.
Yeah. And do you think that's maybe how like Gaspar Noé does his films? You're feeling that type of...
Well, yeah, maybe. I suppose there is a bit of...
reaction into something?
There is a bit of similarity there, I would say.
Yeah.
Even with the Winning Refn kind of comparison.
Exactly.
Although I think he is very concerned with character, even though people may argue that he is style over substance. I'm a big Winning Refn fan, and I actually think his substance drives his style as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was a strange experience, I found.
Yeah. I did too. Look, maybe I wasn't understanding what I was watching. I gave it a shot.
So tell me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just having a munch while
That's okay.
While we're chatting, I'm starving.
So Suspiria, it's a ballet dance school run by witches. That's the crux of this movie. Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, what's Suspiria about? It's like, I can tell you in exactly that. One sentence, I can probably get it down to 4 words.
Ballet dance school, witches.
Yeah.
Run by witches. But yeah, that's not to take away from it was pretty fucking gory. Jesus. It was a little intense. It was close-up graphic.
Yeah, look, I mean, a simplistic plot doesn't necessarily mean bad movie. Not by any stretch. I'm the last. I can't argue that because some of my favorite movies are just straight up are about a heist during a hurricane.
During a hurricane, a great fucking time to do it.
That's a one-sentence plot description as well.
Exactly.
No, but it's funny how like very little happens during the movie.
Yes, that's true.
It's there's a couple of unexplained deaths. There's a few conversations here and there.
Yep.
And then there's a finale.
Yep. And you're not really you're kind of kept in, like, you're going on this roller coaster ride of mystery, and kept in the dark until she goes to see Sarah's friend. Is it Sarah's friend?
Udo Kier.
Yeah, I love that actor. But yeah, so I clocked it at an hour and 10 minutes in. You're not going to understand anything until about that time.
No. Then, I mean, Sarah drops the witches thing.
Yeah.
Probably 10 minutes before that, but then she dies.
Yeah.
It's funny,
and
like...
Her death is awesome. I loved her death. But yeah.
I knew what the story was. I knew that it was about witches.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh, so, this is your first watching, yeah?
Yeah, but it was just something that floated around. I had it in my consciousness that it was the school was run by witches. So I was kind of waiting for everyone to catch up a little bit.
Right. Okay.
But it's funny because watching it, you're right. You could assume anything up to a certain point. Like if you're watching it the first time, you could actually. There's not a lot that makes it seem like it's witchcraft.
No, nothing at all. And I guess that's why I had kind of a reaction as to, okay, well, we're going with that then. Only because reading Empire for the years that I subscribed to it, and it being on all of these horror lists, like you said on the net, I kind of didn't read a lot about it. I was like, no, if it's that scary and it's that high up the list, because it's in the top 5 normally of scariest movies. So I kept away from...
That is bonkers, by the way.
Yeah.
That is I can't.
I know. As soon as the ended, I was like, "Are you fucking serious?" Anyway, I stayed away from anything plot, anything to describe the plot.
Yeah.
So finding out that it was witches, for me, I was like, okay, so it's witches. All right. I was thinking more Rosemary's Baby, demonic type. It was Indian Burial Ground or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Groovy.
something's going on. Do you know what I mean? Behind the curtain.
Yeah.
I just wanted it to be explained. Because it was, witches is fine. It's just, it just caught me off guard. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Look, to go back to the tagline for this movie was something about how it's, the only thing scarier than the last 12 minutes of the first 80 or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what a great tagline.
What fucking movie are you watching?
But, it's all subjective. But, I understand.
Exactly.
Fear is subjective. But it's funny because... Yeah, I did not feel scared at any point during watching this. And I find that really strange because I think it's, it probably is the kind of movie that I would have usually been a bit unsettled by.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I really did not feel that part of it. I felt really separated from the fear kind of tension parts of it. I could acknowledge that it was done well, and I could acknowledge that it was effectively staged, everything.
Yes, that's true.
But it was funny how it just didn't have an effect on me while I was watching it. I found it really hard to go along on the ride for this.
Yeah. I completely agree. Like the combination, the use of color, like I said before, and the suspenseful score, Tys. Like the score on its own was that was great.
I think the score. I mean, look. I'm pretty sure people are well aware how effective this score is.
Yeah.
But so much of what works in this movie works because of that score.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't want to. It's Dario Argento. He's an absolute legend.
Yeah. You're kept on edge the entire time. Like even if I wasn't feeling it, I was like, Jesus, this music this is having an effect. This is intense. Yeah, exactly. And even when they're just having a talk or they're in that scene in the pool, I'm like, Jesus, you're not letting up with this score, are you? Like all of this background sound that's happening. Is this what they're hearing? Is this like what's going on? And doing a little bit of reading before we started recording. He played it at full ball. Dario Argento played that music at full ball during those scenes. So the actors or actresses are having that effect, like full on, man, like full on.
Yeah, I read some cool stuff about how they well, it's not necessarily cool, but the interesting
cool.
ways that they film the sound for these Italian horror movies, because they didn't have the budget to record sound correctly on set. So they knew that they were going to ADR everything.
Yep.
So it's basically just do whatever you want. Like, say
we don't care.
We don't care. The set doesn't need to be quiet. We'll just have shit going on.
We'll just have
we're just going to play. We're going to play music really loud. Oh, you missed that line? Don't worry about it. It's all
keep
good.
going.
Just keep going. It was
We're
pretty close.
Dub the fuck out of you later.
We'll dub it later. You speak English and you speak Italian? Don't worry about it.
Keep going.
Just keep going. Just talk in your natural language.
You there, guys in the background making that set, bang louder.
That's it. Just keep banging away.
That's not cool. That's not a fun set to be on.
Well, it's just it'd be so
keep everyone on edge. Like
it would, but it'd be so disorientating. Like just to not to hear like when someone says action. Like
obviously you can't give a good performance if that shit is going on. Like,
well,
geez,
you know, maybe. But this is what I mean. I don't think these movies are concerned with that. And if you do get good performances, and I think there's a couple in this movie, if you don't get them. If you do happen to get them, it's like kind of just, you know, a little bit of a happy coincidence, I think. And it's like, yeah, great. We also got this really kind of cool performance, but it's not really important if we don't, you know?
Yeah, fair deal. The first death scene, Tyson, when this movie kicked off, she got in a cab. She went to the dance studio. The girl came out, yelled a couple of words at, I have no fucking idea who, just yelled them.
Yeah.
Was it at her? This is going to confuse you out of it. Anyway, I'm going to get to that in a minute. She ran off. She went home. Told her friend something bad is happening. And then she died in an edit that confused me so much. So I was like, what just happened? Who grabbed her? Like something grabbed her. And then she got hung. And then busted out a window.
So, okay, it was
confusing.
Yeah, all right. Here's a good question then.
Yep.
Where did you watch this?
Where?
Yeah.
Where? I watched this in my lounge room.
Sorry, on what source?
Oh, where did I watch it? Oh, shit. Is there another version? Is that what you're telling me?
Well,
for fuck's sake.
We're going to find out.
I watched this on Stanley.
Stan. So, Stan, this is... Okay, so here's what's interesting.
Wait, I need to watch SUSPIRIA again is what you're saying.
No, you don't. You were fine. I think you got most of... I believe Stan has the video of the new restoration.
Oh.
Yeah? Because that was... It looked amazing.
Oh, it looked mint.
Right.
I just didn't know what was going on.
But it was in Italian, wasn't it? With English subtitles.
Yes, that's true.
That's not the original audio.
Oh, great.
So the original audio, believe it or not, is the dubbed into English one.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So this is what's... Because the lead character and most of the supporting characters, there's only a few that don't, are speaking English for the entire film.
For the entire film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the actual English audio one is the more ideal audio track to have.
Right.
When I realized Stan didn't have that, I bailed on it, and I found it on a different streaming source where it looks nowhere near as good because it was the older transfer.
Older restoration.
Yeah. So I kind of jumped back and forth because that way I could see the comparison of the video quality. But also,
did you watch it on Tubi TV? Was it Tubi?
Yeah, on Tubi. Yeah,
on Tubi. Yeah. Okay, because I saw it was either on Stan or on Tubi, and I was like, I'm going to watch it on Stan.
Yeah, so Tubi has the non 2K or 4K restoration.
All right.
It's nowhere, like the visuals just are nowhere near as effective. Like the colors don't pop. There's no, like some of it looked like a Wes Anderson movie. Like
man, it looked intense.
on the 4K transfer. It was beautiful. This old one, you don't get that effect at all. But you did get to hear the original English audio, which is really it's quite interesting because it's overdubbed, so it's not their performance, but their mouths are kind of moving the right way, and it's really wild.
So they're overdubbed with English, even though they were speaking English.
Yeah, because they didn't record any sound on set.
Right.
So everything was always going to be overdubbed. Isn't that wild?
That is hilarious.
So you did see the complete thing. Did you see the bit where she's getting stabbed?
I did see that.
So she gets dragged out of the window onto the balcony or the roof.
Stabbed like
stab. And then the bit where it legit stabs the heart. Like
like the chest is open for some reason. The chest cavity has come open, and someone stabs the actual heart. I was like, Jesus, that's gory.
It was,
that's okay. And then the poor friend who's trying to get help just dies in the debris falling from the window.
The makeup on the piece of glass in her head is great. It's really good.
It was good, wasn't it? Yeah, I like the blood. I love that the blood is paint. I can tell that it's paint.
Oh yeah. But it's
just red paint.
It's so red though. Like it's so I actually like when I watch old 70s films. When I see the way they do blood. Yeah. It's always it's such a like vibrant red. Like it's not realistic at all.
No, it's saying something though. It's like no. Look at the redness coming out.
Yeah, it just smacks of red. I actually quite like it. It's a good opening scene. It sets us up well.
It does.
Isn't it weird the bit where she's walking in the airport and every time the sliding doors open, the music plays.
It's okay,
and
so
it stops when the door's shut.
That's the start scene we see, right? So that's because we see that's the first thing we see. And with what you're saying, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be good. Oh, I can't wait. This is going to be really good. What's going on?" You know, I was like, "Oh my God, she's going to step into this world." My imagination just took away, and I was like, "She's going to if she steps past the doors, she's in the world. What's going to happen?" Do you know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure that's what they were trying to imply, that it was like that's kind of the point of no return. Once you hit the streets, it's all over for you. It
was a good.
Overall, the first 10 minutes I thought were really effective.
Like the girl running in the woods when she's getting the cab back home, and the girl sprinting in the woods, and she just sees her. I'm like, that's actually quite terrifying.
What I find really funny is that she's running through the woods, clearly helpless. I don't think there's another movie in existence where she wouldn't have died in the woods. Like she makes it out fine. She gets home.
Yeah, she's fine. She gets home.
She gets to her mate's place.
Yeah. And it's like, "Are you all right?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." No,
but
not really.
They just showed her. Yeah, they just showed her doing the damsel in distress run through the forest. Any other film, she would die in that forest.
Yeah. You would have seen her like the cab would have gone off, and you would have seen her get grabbed or disappeared or something
like that. It's funny how these films just work on a completely different like set of rules. Rules is the wrong word, but set of expectations.
Yeah, This is not anything that you're gonna be used to at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah, no. And I think that's what kind of confused me at the start especially with the art direction of her friend's house and the 70s aspect of it all. I was like, what's going on? Like, this is intense. What just happened? She's getting pushed through a ceiling, and now she's strung up. It was weird. And that stabbing, there was a lot of stabbing.
The random hand
Yeah.
that kind of just appears with the knife.
Yeah. I love the window scene. I love when she was pushed against the window. Like she's
just having her face squashed against the window.
Yeah. But she knows something's outside. She sees the eyes. The hand comes through the window and just pulls her against the window. I'm like, that's messed up. And the hand was...
The eyes were great. The eyes were really great.
Yeah.
I thought the anticipation in that scene was probably the most effective in the whole film, I thought.
Yeah. Like the end. The end was good. The end anticipation was, you were like, because you knew what was going on.
Oh, when she's walking through that hallway.
Yeah.
Once she's
and all that
writing
on the walls. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know Italian, but I'm pretty sure this actually says something.
I'm pretty sure this is some messed up
Pretty
shit.
sure it says something on the wall.
Yeah, it's really effective. I thought the eyeballs coming through the window. I have a question. Who is stabbing?
I don't know.
Is it?
I don't know.
Is it the main ballet teacher, or is it the one that is like the boss?
No, I think.
Or is it the maid
it's
man?
Yeah, no, not him. I think it's the maid woman. I think it's her because the one with the. Do you remember how she was walking? She's
that hangs out with the boy a lot.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's her because I think. Remember one of my favorites, a scene that really stood out for me in this was when she was her first class. She was walking down the hall. She's like, "Okay, first class, let's go." She walks down a hall to the red room or whatever. The amount of use of red in this is intense. And she sees the boy and that maid lady, and the maid lady shines like a pyramid or something at her that has a reflective surface. And from then on in, it's like a spell. Like she's like, no, we've got you now. You are now owned by us. She's put in whatever in her head.
Yeah, sure.
That scared the hell out of me.
It wasn't a knife? I thought
was it a knife?
I don't know.
It just looked like a crystal pyramid or something.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, all right. She's not the same one. It's not the same maid that's chopping that's in the kitchen later, is it?
Yes.
So
correct.
why is she so much like she's so quiet and weird and mysterious at first? Why is she having a good old chuckle with her mate later?
I don't know. Maybe it's because she's behind. Well, she's in a place where she's probably feeling safe, and she's not. We see her where we're not meant to see her.
Do we see her at the end with the other ones?
We don't.
So
or maybe no, she's in the background.
That's not her in the background. That was some. I remember looking at her and being like, I've never seen you before. Who are you?
Who the fuck?
The
are
one
you?
that was just standing behind the main chair. Yeah. I'd never seen her before. Had I?
No, maybe you didn't. No, you didn't because the kitchen with the meat.
Because she sneaks past her to get there.
Yeah,
I got not to jump to the end. I got serious Harry Potter vibes from that scene. You know the bit in Harry Potter where he overlooks or overhears Wormtongue talking to Voldemort through the crack in the door. Oh yeah. Or behind when he's under the cloak. Yes. Yeah. He's under the cloak and he can see through the door where Wormtongue and talking to Voldemort, and you don't really see Voldemort clearly, and blah blah. Yeah. But it just reminded me so much of that scene. It was almost set out exactly the same, the geography of it. Okay, so thank you for answering that question because that was my first question. Yeah. Who the hell is doing the killing? Yeah. So as it's a weird. This is a hard movie to deconstruct. I find. Right. I wrote literally the least I've written about any movie that we've talked about so far. I think it took the record from I don't even know, but there was one. I remember there was one. 1 in 60 seconds. No, I wrote a lot about Gone in 60 Seconds. Gone in 60 Seconds is a 2-pager. You don't get many 2 pages. Fair deal. But it's not that there's not a lot to talk about. It's that no. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's that it's. Well, one thing that I found, because upon reflection, I was like, okay, but this is gonna mess with your saying, like, it's not really a story-driven movie; it's an experience, which I completely agree with, by the way. Yeah. But going from the maggots, I wanted to find out storyboard-wise what was the idea behind. Okay, so stay with me for a second. Here we go. Mm-hmm. So the maggot scene, maggots fall from the roof, right? The reason for that is so that they can plot-wise get all the girls in one room to sleep. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then the reason to get all the girls in the room to sleep is so that Sarah and what's our main lady's name? Jesus, we suck. No idea. Forgotten. Completely forgotten. Susie. To get Sarah and Susie in a room together so that they can identify the breathing of the person behind the curtain. Was that the main reason for that? So that she can later identify the breathing
from the bed in the end of the film.
Well,
is that
look,
the reason why?
plot,
I maybe just kind of
plot mechanics are kind of, don't have to, like, what drives you from scene to scene doesn't have to be more than that. I think that's enough to get you from scene to scene. That's fine.
Okay.
It's, it's the maggots, though. The maggots.
I like the maggots.
Yeah, I mean, it's effective. So,
And they were real maggots.
Oh, God, that's so messed up.
There were so many maggots.
Was that an accident then? So that wasn't.
The maggots?
Yeah, that wasn't
an
a spell from the witches.
No, I think it wasn't a legitimate accident.
It was actually that they got spoiled food delivered, and then it.
But who puts? Hang on a minute. The spoiled food was on the 3rd floor or the 4th floor.
Yeah, it wasn't like in
Why the fuck
Was
is
it
up
spoiled
there?
food or was it someone's corpse and we're missing out? We're missing
No,
the
because it
detail.
looked like a sausage. I thought it was going to be a corpse. I'm like, oh, cool, it's a corpse, and the corpse is like that's a lot of maggots, but maybe it's more than one corpse.
Because
and then I look, and it's just a sausage eaten in half.
Right. Because wouldn't the fact that they all had to stay in the same room that would inconvenience the witches? Because
You think so?
Well, yeah, because that means that Helena Marcos, the main one, she had to come in and sleep in the room with them.
Yeah, which is why I think it was
which is an inconvenience to them. So they mustn't have planned this maggot thing.
The maggot thing. Yeah, that's the only thing that I could think of. That it is an accident.
This is yeah. See, it's funny because as an experience, you find yourself kind of. You find yourself kind of mesmerized by it a little bit, but you realize that you're not taking in a lot of information. Like, I don't know if this is a similar experience for you, but I would find myself I'd be staring like dead at the screen. Like I did not take my eyes off this thing.
But you have no
But every now and then I would be like, what just happened the last 2 minutes? Where have I been? What was I doing? And I was watching it like I was 100% taking in the imagery, but not always processing that information. Like it was a really strange experience.
Yeah.
And like, so somebody who's watched this a bunch of times is probably yelling at us right now going, you're idiots. Of course that's what happened. But because of the experience of it, because it is so disorientating, because it is like, it is a kind of film that we're not used to watching. And so we're experiencing a different country's interpretation of that.
Yeah.
I found it just, really a very kind of different experience. I usually try really hard to take in information and take in like
take in everything that you're watching, listening to. All of the senses are on high while you're watching something like this. It's just that maybe because you're getting I don't know what the right word is. A artistic experience which is unlike any other. Like it's pretty intense with their collaboration of sound, the art direction, what colors it's going for.
Yeah,
story and plot are kind of not secondary, but third and fourth down the rung here. Like it's not plot driven. This is not a plot driven film.
No, I mean the plot drives it as much as it has to in order to get us from A to B. That's kind of what we're saying now. But it's obviously not the priority. Yeah. Does that mean like can you enjoy this film on a purely sensory level? Like can you? I
think you could.
Can you just go into it and go, hey, you know what? Like, I don't watch Suspiria because I'm digging the witch story.
Yeah.
Or,
I just watch it on mute.
I'm like, you could watch
this
on
mute. No, not mute.
Soundtrack only.
Soundtrack only. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, that's messed up. That's fucked up.
Because I feel like as a sensory experience, it would be wonderful. Like, and you'd catch up. Like, no one's sitting there clamoring for the backstory of Helena Marcos. Like, nobody's like, "Ooh, I can't wait to hear about what happened to this witch." Like, no one gives two shits about that. It's and that's I don't hate the scene when she's talking to Udo Kier and that other guy, but it's probably not necessary, to be honest. Like,
no, not at all. You could have not had that scene and ended it the way that it ended, and it still makes sense to us.
We'd know, we understand the concept of witches. Like,
we'd be fine with it. It'd be fine. I have a question. I have two questions.
Go for it.
My first question is, do you think, so the lady that we talked about before, the maid that looks after the nephew, do you think they antagonize, so that where I'm going with it is that the blind pianist's dog bites the nephew? Yes?
Yes.
Do you think that they had something to do with that? Do you think that the dog was... Because they walked up to the dog like they were going to kill it.
Yeah, I feel like that So, maybe I missed some of this information, but how long has the blind piano player been there for?
Oh, I don't know.
Was that provided to us?
No, I don't think that was.
Because I took it as that the dog was sensing it. Like able to sense, was able to sense the evil.
The bad evil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is likewise when we do have the death of the piano player, that the dog is the first to respond. Like as soon as he knows that there's evil around, he's the one that's going nuts. So I think
which is why when he left and he got kicked out, he's like, I may be blind, but I still hear stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he knows. He knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And that's why they kill him off. So do you think they... Okay. So you think the dog knew about something? And that's why they maybe killed the dog?
Yeah, I think that they went to kill the dog. The dog is able to sense... Because, obviously because they wanted to get rid of the piano player. But, the dog is able to sense the evil and stuff as well. So it's kind of like we need to kill the dog.
Yeah.
Dog bit. They use as an excuse to get rid of him. And then, turn the dog on to you.
Fair deal.
I didn't like that. I felt really bad about that.
What? Why?
Oh, I hate when animals are used that way in movies. Like, I know it's fine. It's fine. I just
but
like it.
It was the evil taking over the dog.
I know. But it's. I think more about the act. I know it's fine for the dog actor. I know it is fine, but I would struggle for the dog actor. Yes, I did say dog actor. It's why I'd struggle with something like I don't think I could watch something like Cujo because I don't want to see animals be that way. Like
fair deal.
When I know that inherently they're not that way.
Yeah, fair deal.
I was expecting there to be a moment where, and it would have broken my heart, where they break the spell on the dog.
Oh, okay.
And he kind of just has a moment where he stops and tries to wake him up. Like, and I was like, I don't do that to me. Don't do that to me because I can't handle that right now.
That would be intense. That's a bit much.
Well, because that's they're manipulating a completely innocent creature, you know what I mean? And so there's like that kind of made me feel icky. And I was like,
what about Jaws? Sharks don't necessarily want to hurt people either.
No, it's different when it's because Jaws wasn't possessed by something. Like, you know what I mean? Like Jaws was just a shark that wanted to eat some people.
Yeah, man. Safe.
Whereas, I think it's in the circumstance of like Cujo or something like that. It's because there's an evil entity in the creature.
Fair deal.
Which I don't cope well with.
What was the horror? This is way off track. What was the horror movie? It came out when we would have been at the video store with a Rottweiler, and it had like stuff done to it, so it was a super dog, and it turned out to be a horror dog. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
What is that? What is it?
Google horror movies about dogs.
I am doing it now.
Right now because I need to know.
Yep.
You've definitely you haven't made that up. There was Cujo, and then there was
another. It was Cujo, and then there was another dog, and it was a specific. It was a Rottweiler. No, it wasn't that. That wasn't that. Oh, still going. While we do that, I have my other question. What was my other question? So dog, Nippy's dog. Fuck, my other question is gone. I'm gonna put 90s. I'm gonna put 90s dog horror movie because was it definitely 90s?
Yeah, I feel like it.
All I'm just getting is Cujo and Iron Will.
Maybe I'm just thinking of Cujo, but Cujo wasn't a Rottweiler.
Cujo, man's best friend. Yeah. See, Tys, look. Man's best friend.
Oh, nice.
you remember that one?
No, that wasn't what I was thinking at all.
That's what I was thinking. Nature created him, science perfected him, and no one can control him. So they like did science experiments on a Rottweiler, and he was like as strong as a bear or something.
Oh, nice.
As fast as a cheetah. Yeah, it was bad up.
Super
dog. What was my second question? I think the most frightening thing about this movie, I'm going to skip.
Mm-hmm.
The most frightening thing about this movie is the big henchman with the weird teeth. I think he deserves
the guy that delivers their food for him and stuff.
Yeah, he is frightening.
Well, he's kind of I suppose he's got the Igors about him though, or even like
Yes, master.
Yeah, I think, or like Jaws from James Bond. He's got a bit of that as well.
Yeah, Jaws is scary as hell.
I like he's an effective character. I think it's nice that Susie is the one that kind of tries to be nice to him too.
Yeah.
Because she, I think she thinks that it's a bit of a, he's just a bit of a shy kind of person because he's a bit strange looking and he hasn't been able to, he doesn't feel comfortable, and so she's like, no, he's probably fine. Turns out he was evil, and he was, he was helping them out. Or maybe he was just being exploited by them. He's probably not inherently evil.
Right. No.
He just didn't know any other way.
Yep. The two other things that I have, or three other things, is I think Sarah's death is the best death in this thing. Like, that came out of nowhere, that pit of barbed wire, even though it wasn't barbed wire, it was just wire. But still, it was supposed to be barbed wire, and it looked scary, man. If I was in that, that was a lot. That was a pit.
Okay.
And then she's almost at the door, and then just gets her throat slit. Like you're almost there, you're almost out, and then guess what?
The throat slit's good.
Yeah. Barbed wire.
Yeah. Well, but where is she? Like, what's going on? Like, she was just in a room.
Yeah.
And she
fell into a room of barbed wire.
What room of barbed wire? What are we talking about?
This is witches. They can change rooms so that it's just a room of barbed wire.
If it was a spell.
Yep.
And the room, they enchanted the room.
Yep.
But that's not the impression I got.
No.
The impression I got is that they have a room that they store barbed wire in.
And really badly store it as well. Like you can't really use any of that.
Dude's like, that's dangerous. I don't care if you're a witch or not. Like,
how am I meant to use that?
How are you meant to go in and like, we need to put some more barbed wire up? Well, I'm not touching that shit. Have you been in there? It's like 60 headphones tangled together.
Listen, I need you to go into the barbed wire room and get me 2 meters of barbed wire.
No, sorry.
2 meters of barbed wire. It's your turn this time, buddy. I'll see you in about 3 hours.
Every time someone goes into the barbed wire room, they come out like with all these little cuts on their fingers. They're like, I'm never doing it again.
Going,
sick of this.
Motherfucker, Jesus Christ. Yeah, fair deal.
And then every now and then they'll go in to get something and they'll have realised that they've caught like 4 possums and squirrels. And they're like, oh no, there's a squirrel in the barbed wire again.
Ah, shit. Well, get it out then. Get it out.
Yeah, so while I think the build-up to her death was pretty great, I found that kind of ludicrous. And I just kind of, I was like, really? Okay, sure. I guess she's fallen into some barbed wire.
Yeah.
Cool. Whatever. Hey, it happens, man.
Yeah, fair deal.
Yeah,
go on.
No, I was just going to say, I don't think anything tops the first death for me. I think,
really?
I really think that's something else. It's so good that, it's almost like, I guess they kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit because...
start off with the best. Well, that was the same with Nightmare on Elm Street we did last week.
True.
Tina's death is the best death.
Well, and... Yeah, I also don't think this movie ever got better than the first 10 minutes. Is that fair to say?
I would completely agree.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. Like, it's like, don't get me wrong, there were parts that I really enjoyed, but yeah, like that build up, like watching Sarah's death, I was really kind of like, oh, this is going to be a good one. Something cool is going to happen here.
Yeah.
And so when that was the end of it, it couldn't help but be kind of like, oh, all right, moving on. We're on to the next one.
We're on to the next one. Yeah, fair deal.
And I actually felt that feeling a lot in this movie.
Movie, yeah, that's true.
There would be a really exciting moment where I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be cool."
Oh, you're screwed.
And I was watching it, and I was really enjoying the tension. I was enjoying the build up, and the colors, of course, were all fantastic. And you hear the whispers kick in,
yep.
And it starts again, and
you're like,
and then it's a clearly fake dog. that gnawing on his neck. And I'm like, okay, cool. The concept of the dog turning on him is scary. The execution, not so much.
Okay.
The idea of her falling into a room full of barbed wire, potentially, conceptually scary. In execution, not so much.
Oh, okay, fair deal.
Do you know what I mean? That's that movie to a T, I think.
It's such a well-lit room, that barbed wire room as well.
Well, everything's fucking...
Why is this room well-lit? Yeah, fair deal.
It's like, where are they placing all these neon parking?
In the end of it, like, apart from some poisoning, right, and a reflective surface that makes blood come out of her mouth and her nose, these witches don't really have any powers. It's more of a cult. Am I wrong in saying that? It's more of a cult. Where's the powers? Like, apart from maybe possessing the dog to eat the man and the bat-like creature that
bat
seen. Like, I was like, okay, there's a bat in the room. Let's get the bat out. I was like, to be honest, I've been in that situation. I've had a bat in the room, and it's not fucking fun. I went to Phillip Island, and there was a fucking bat in the room, and I was like, fucking, there's a bat in the room. See, get the bat out. Like, what the fuck? And it was a small bat, and it's fine, but still, it's a bat. Like, it is Jesus. A leather mouse screaming at me. And I'm like, okay, that's perfect.
Look, and anyone with half a brain doesn't want a bat flying around. Oh God.
Oh fuck.
What are we doing? This bat scene, I thought it was going to be.
It just went on for too fucking long. I was like, get the fucking bat out of the room. And then she killed it, and I was like,
it just get the bat out of the room. For like,
kill it.
There's like Jesus. 6 cuts. It cuts to the bat, to her,
to her,
to the bat.
So many.
Oh my God. And so I just assumed that it was one of the witches taking another form.
Okay.
Because why else does that scene exist?
Exactly.
What is the point of that scene?
Well, that's what I found with a lot of this movie. I was like,
that might be the most, like the one that I found the most unnecessary, though.
The bat
was the bat, okay. I think, because at least like all the other stuff that maybe. Oh no, do you know the one that I found the most unnecessary? The shot that lingers for about 25 seconds of them just treading water in the pool, not talking to each other. The overhead shot, the one?
I like that. It was good. I like that whole pool scene.
The pool scene's good.
They were trying to do something, but it didn't work.
They were trying to do something.
Yeah.
So I was sure that the bat was, and it was going to be like, because she killed it. One of the witches would be like, "You killed Esmeralda," or whatever, and she'd be like, "Who?" And it's like the bat.
Esmeralda. Yeah, that's awesome.
But nothing like that. Just
nothing.
No, not a thing.
Do you think the friend at the start? Do you think she was, because she was okay with everything? The rumor is that she's a witch in training. Do you think that's true? The friend that she moved in with, Olga. Remember at the start?
Yeah. What happened to Olga? She just disappears.
She just disappeared. She was like sassy at the start and giving people shit, and it's like, no, this is who I am. I like to ruffle the feathers of the crowd.
She was a good character. I liked her.
And then just that's it in the end. And they were like, I love the Rosemary's Baby type. Oh no, she doesn't want you to live there anymore. You're going to stay here. I'm like, yeah, this is bullshit. Olga doesn't know about any of this shit, and you've just moved her stuff in so that you can keep her in the house. That's all. That's what I thought it was. But then in reading some things, I was like, oh no, maybe Olga did just kick her out or something. I don't know.
It would make sense. I mean, she seems like she doesn't want to be involved in anything that would be even remotely hard work. So
she's just chilling out. She's like, yeah, whatever. But I don't think she would have. Yeah, I think she was a witch in training. I think that's what it was. I like that theory.
I'm not against that theory.
Yeah,
she did have that. She had that kind of air about her, where she could have, and I liked. She clearly kind of was there, like she had a bit of a manipulative nature. What happened to the blonde guy?
Blonde guy. Oh yeah, he was kind of a servant thing.
Did he die?
Yeah, this is the thing. You don't really know. Yeah, I got nothing.
Look, I'm not. If movies don't have to.
No, you don't have to tell me what happens to everyone.
No, of course not. Like, characters can just come in and out.
He seemed a bit of a plot
It
point.
It did though, didn't it? It
Like,
seemed
I
like
think
they
it
were
don't even
going to use him in some way.
She was flirting with him like quite a lot.
Yeah, they were flirting a lot.
And he like waved her above the curtain when the maggots fell down, when they were all sleeping in the thing. They're like, oh, I'm on this curtain on the other side. I'm going to wave to you, say hi.
Right. Was that the last time we saw him?
I think that was the last time. No. We saw him when Sarah died in the barbed wire, and second head witch said, oh, she ran away, and he collaborated with her and said, yeah, she did run away. I'm like, you were in on it. You were supposed to be with her, and you were in on it. But they said, no, it's because he's a slave. He can't pay his he just wants to learn ballet. He can't pay his fees. So they've enslaved him.
Don't we all just want to learn ballet, Nick? I mean, I don't know about you. I understand the plight. I would be a servant to some witches if it meant I could learn ballet.
That's true. I would.
No one wants to see me doing ballet, though.
No, they do. They do. Especially with your Errol Flynn type mustache.
Oh,
yeah.
God,
You
actually,
would fit right the fuck in. You would fit so in, man.
Oh, they'd love it. Sick.
Yeah. Tyson?
Yes, Nick.
I'm done. Suspiria.
Yeah, I don't think I've got much more to say. I feel like we have not done this justice.
I feel we haven't. I'm sure there's a lot of things that we could go into.
No.
We probably should have got a Suspiria aficionado in for this one.
It might have been a good idea.
But we didn't know. This is the thing. This is why it's on our list.
It was on our list.
We're going to find people. We don't know what's going to happen. This is why St. Amo's Fire was just a fucking hilarious twist in the end, because it was shit.
And we get,
and we're not saying that Suspiria is shit. We're just saying that it's not for us.
I'm not even sure that it's not for me. I actually think that on any day, it could be exactly for me, or it could be not at all for me. Like, I wouldn't even know until I started watching it. Like, I couldn't say, you know what I'm in the mood for? I'm in the mood for Suspiria, and put it on and enjoy it. I don't think that could ever happen. It would have to be a gamble every time. I'd have to say, look, I've got nothing to do. I might try watching Suspiria again and see if it's for me.
See if now is the time.
Exactly. And 20 minutes in, I'd be like, now's not the time.
Yeah, now's not the time.
Or, this is the time. I am loving this. Sick. Because I honestly think
Maybe if you set it up a bit, like maybe some red wine, some grapes, maybe a bit of maybe.
Are you just listing stereotypically Italian?
No, I'm saying that if you've been watching a lot of cinema, maybe some Fellini, a little bit like that, and then you're in the mood for it. You're like, well, let's pedal on this bandwagon and
Cinema Paradiso.
Exactly. You've been watching a lot of Italian cinema, and then you feel like Suspiria.
Well, I would like to watch a little bit more Argento stuff. I would like to watch some of his pure giallos.
Yes.
Which are now floating around on a few different streaming services. So I think
maybe after a few of them, then watch Suspiria again.
And maybe I'll see the
we're not seeing
the stuff that we're not seeing initially, but also the way that it kind of detours from traditional giallo might be interesting as well, because then you can see that the way it's branching off into a more kind of supernatural horror element, and I can see the choices that he's making, because I want to watch it and see the craft, because it's there, it's everywhere in it, but I ended up watching it and just being kind of like, what's going on there? Like, what happened here with these things? What are you doing? Who's this person? And while I was aware of all the craft things, I don't think I really kind of was able to completely acknowledge just how effective or maybe not effective they are. What an interesting viewing experience.
It was interesting, and I'm glad that I've seen it. I'm very glad that I've seen it, so that I can now have an opinion on Suspiria. And
I've seen it, and I don't have an opinion on Suspiria. Like, that's the thing. I don't think I can make an opinion of it. I don't think I can say whether or not I think it's a good or a bad movie. I actually have no idea.
Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe sitting in this weird grey area of Suspiria is where you're meant to be.
Maybe it's where everyone.
And what
belongs.
do you think about this? So, Tyson, I believe it's coming up at the end of October, the remake of Suspiria, Tyson.
I'm excited, actually. Now that I've seen this version.
Now that you've seen this,
because that trailer, I was more scared in the trailer for the new one than I was in the entirety of the old one.
Right, really?
Yeah, I found it really unsettling. Like, Tilda Swinton.
I avoided it, and now I'm going to watch it.
Watch the second trailer.
Watch the second trailer?
Yeah, I think it's better.
Okay. So, yes, this is the director. The director of the new Suspiria is... I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. Luca. Call Me By Your Name guy.
Yes.
He directed that. And I am love. But a little bit of a difference, Tyson. The remake of Suspiria. Hang on, how long did the Suspiria go for?
It went for about hour and 10 minutes.
Okay. No,
Sorry,
it was an hour
just shy of 100 minutes.
40. Yeah. The new one goes for 2 hours 30, Tys.
What? How long?
2 hours 32 minutes.
No. 2.5 hours?
2.5 hours of Suspiria.
Oh. You killed me. Killing me.
That's a slog. That's a bit of a slog.
Killing me.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Look, make a movie as long as you fucking want, but 2.5 hours of like, there's no plot. There's not enough plot to sustain 90 minutes.
Yeah, I know. But that's the thing. Maybe it's more of an experience. Maybe it's going on what this one does a bit more.
He's really going for the experience element.
But he's coming out and saying that he's not trying to do a remake. This is not anything to do with Argento's original. This is a thing of its own, I believe.
He has, I heard something similar, that he's not remaking the first film. He is using the first film as inspiration for his own adaptation of the story.
Yes, that's what I heard as well, yes.
Now,
in saying that,
and I don't want to be
nitpicky.
No, not nitpicky. That's not the right word. I don't want to be unfair to Luca.
Okay, sure.
Whatever his last name is, Luca.
Yeah.
Call Me By Your Name, director. that's his full last name. Luca, Call Me By Your Name, director.
Yeah.
I think that's horseshit a little bit.
Oh, really?
Well, because isn't every remake that?
Yeah, fair deal.
Isn't that just a fancy way of saying I'm doing a remake? I'm using the original film as inspiration for my own adaptation.
It's better to come out and say I am a fan and this is my, like, obviously I'm going to take inspiration, but
like the only remakes that doesn't apply to are those shot-for-shot ones, like
of Suspiria. Yeah, like Psycho.
Isn't that what every remake is? Like, for instance, see last year's Spook-isode episode on The Fog and its remake.
No, that's just a cash cow.
No, but for the director or the writer that wrote the remake or directed it,
they're like, I don't know.
They could quite honestly say that that they used the first film as inspiration for their own adaptation of the story, for sure.
Yeah, fair deal.
That's just what a remake is. It was just a strange kind of sentence, and I was like, I don't know if that really means anything to anybody.
Yeah, fair deal.
Because 2.5 hours of neon lights. Well,
I don't think he's taking that art direction.
He's not really doing the neon thing. He seems to. It looks like he's doing a kind of desaturated thing.
Yeah.
Where there's just some kind of reds and browns, kind of that have got a bit of vibrancy to it, but everything else is a bit kind of pale and washed out. So that's a different direction, I guess. I think what it means is if someone said we're remaking Suspiria, you would think that you're getting a neon gore fest.
Yes.
So the fact that it's not that doesn't mean that it's any less a remake. It is exactly it's still a remake.
Yeah.
He's just choosing to put his own spin on it. But that's what every remake is. There are no remakes where they just literally do what the first director did. Like, that doesn't exist. Anyway.
That's Psycho. No, that does exist.
It's that Psycho. Yeah, that's aside from the deliberately staged shot-for-shot remakes.
Exactly. There was something I was going to say. Now it's gone. Last thing for me is that. Do you know what I love on a 70s movie?
What's that?
End scene, cut to credits, done. Like, it's such a fast ending. Like, she escapes from there, the whole place burns up, cue credits.
Movie over. A-okay. She might as well have A-okay'd into camera.
Exactly. And I'm like, oh, wow, bang. Okay, Jesus, that is not Return of the King at all.
No, I found that similar. It was kind of jarring. I was like, oh, it's ended. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah. And it kind of does jar you like that. Like I love it.
Well, because
I love a movie. A movie has been effective to me, and my wife can attest for this for me. She can say the amount of times that I'll watch a movie and I'll get so into it, and then when it fades to black, and I'm waiting for those credits to roll, and I go, no, don't end it there. No, you're not done yet. No, don't do it. And then it cuts to roll credits, and I'm like, you fucking idiot. Why did you cut it there? You know, because I want more, or it's affected me, or it's done its job well.
Sure.
Well,
it was strange because it was the finale was probably, aside from the opening, the most I was engaged in the film.
Yeah.
And so while I was kind of maybe treading wheels a little bit and kind of thinking, how long has this got left? I didn't actually think that for the last 10 minutes or so. I was actually kind of engaged because shit actually started happening.
Yeah.
And so when she's running out and all the explosions going on, I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is kind of, this is a nice little finale and stuff. And the credits rolled. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. There was only 10 minutes to go. It could have potentially been longer, but
it didn't have to.
It didn't necessarily be longer. You could have condensed the stuff in the middle and extended the finale sequence, and I would have been completely engaged and completely into it. It did. It was good. Let's leave it there.
Suspiria.
The in no way expert's guide to Suspiria, just provided for you then by Nic and Tys.
We would love feedback on our Suspiria review.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
Review. I don't like to say review.
Yeah, let's get some feedback on some stuff that was good.
Exactly, like last week's.
Yeah, go check out last week's. Last week's we knew what we were talking about.
Exactly.
This is fun. Is Suspiria? I mean, it wasn't on our list, as in it was on our list, as that we hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
Is it on other people's lists? Is it really one of those films, or is it just kind of because we come from that environment
of a love of film?
Yeah,
I think
that it was on the list.
Yeah, I think it's only. I think people. Yeah, only people who have a love of film know what Suspiria is.
What about like weird horror people? Do you reckon? Not weird horror people. That sounds mean. But people that, people that will watch anything horror. Do you reckon this is on their radar as well?
I think it's on their radar.
Okay.
I don't think that they would have seen it.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, on that note, Nicholas, that was Suspiria 1977. Let's talk about what did you watch this week?
I watched something.
Hey, congratulations.
Hey.
Welcome to the party.
Do you know what
pal?
Thanks to thank you for letting me join your segment. What did we watch this week? My name is Nicholas. And I watched, I took a trip back.
Did you?
I watched Uncle Buck.
What?
I wanted some John Candy fun.
Oh, God.
I did. I wanted to watch Uncle Buck.
See,
So
no, look, that's fine and all.
What's wrong with Uncle Buck? You don't like Uncle Buck?
No, I like Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck must be a good palate cleanser from horror movie watching, I'm sure.
It was. Well, I wanted the different aspects. I wanted the different,
It's funny.
Complete comedy to complete horror.
Well,
because I watched it beforehand, I thought I'm gonna watch Uncle Buck. Have a nice John Hughes feel good film.
Yeah,
with John
you'll start feeling great for the afternoon.
Exactly, and a very young Macaulay Culkin, and it's awesome, and I love it. And then I'm going to go into a movie that is rated for some reason number 2 as the scariest movie of all time. Number 2, it's up there. Tyson,
what list was that?
Suspiria has. Hang on, wait, I wrote it down.
I'm gonna investigate a few more.
On Rotten Tomatoes, it's a 98, Tyson, or a 97.
I'd find it really hard to give Suspiria a negative review. Anyway, we're
moving on.
Suspiria.
I watched Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck was rad. I love it. I've loved it for many reasons, and it's not just John Candy. It's the John Hughes feel of it. Even though this is kind of the end of the John Hughes making of films, isn't it? Is this his last? Was that his, or the end of the 90s version?
Well, Uncle Buck was in 1990, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was.
So he was moving into a different direction. We got the Home Alone.
Oh no, 89.
89.
89. There you go.
Because John Hughes wrote Home Alone.
Yep.
Planes,
Trains.
Well, that was prior to Uncle Buck, though, wasn't it? Planes, Trains, and
Yeah, it was the last one. See, Curly Sue was the last one, and then he bows out from directing. Which, to be honest, with his directorial list, it's a good innings.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that John Hughes will ever be remembered specifically for his direction. I think he.
Oh, you think so?
Well, I tend to think of him more as a writer-director, that the same way I kind of think of Cameron Crowe, I guess. Like, not necessarily a bad director, but that his writing was where his strength really lied, and he just knew how to direct his own words. Like, you know, I don't think I'd be interested in watching.
The other, you're saying.
I don't know, but having said that, I don't know if he ever directed anything he didn't write.
Yeah,
but I would assume I'm less interested in watching a John Hughes film directed that he didn't write. Like, I don't have a lot of interest in that.
Yeah, fair deal.
Yeah,
I like Uncle. The reason that I go back to Uncle Buck, and it's a nostalgia more than anything else. But I do love it's a different coming of age movie for me, for the oldest sister, and it's not particularly. It's not too feel good. It's not nice what happens to her, like that. And it's such a lovely story in the end. She's fighting with her family. She hates her mum. She hates where she lives. And you've seen it's been done before. And a relative comes in and kind of shows her that, you know, it's a little bit of discipline, but it's also, you know, life isn't just about you. There are other things around.
Sure.
Which is lovely.
Yeah, there's some really nice stuff going on in that movie. It's funny. It's remembered, obviously, predominantly for Macaulay Culkin and John Candy doing their thing.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, it's got other stuff going on.
It was good.
I have not seen it since the
90s.
Yeah, like being a kid watching it on television.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love it so much. Yeah. Uncle Buck, Tys.
Oh, nice one, man. Nice one.
I liked it. Bit of a change.
Well, I haven't been cleansing the palette at all. I've been keeping the palette well and truly dirty. And so I've been, horror movies. Oh, actually, I do tell a lie. I did watch a few documentaries, but I felt like documentaries were okay because it's like, I'm not breaking my October just horror movies by watching documentaries that aren't about horror.
Yeah,
so I'll just mention briefly the film that I watched. I won't mention any of the docos. But watched revisited Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh,
the Coppola '93 film.
Yeah.
Which
how was Keanu's accent in that? Is that good?
It's awful, and will be awful for quite some time, I think. Like, you'll never be able to watch that and say, you know, it's not that bad. It's growing on me.
I've never seen Bram Stoker's Dracula all the way through. I've always fallen asleep. I've watched it twice.
Wow.
And I've fallen asleep both times. It's because I put it on at a really stupid time. I've done something, or had a really big weekend, and then I put it on and I pass out. And I want to watch it. The intention is there, and I'm like, yes, let's watch this. Fine. You know.
No, I completely understand. It does have that effect, I think. It can be pretty slow.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't know. I don't remember anything.
Well, there you
apart
go.
From...
I am a huge fan of Bram Stoker's Dracula. I think it is one of my favorite horror movies.
Yeah.
It might be just one of my favorite movies too.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a real sucker for it, and I'm very aware of its shortcomings. Like, I don't think it's particularly well written. I think the script has some absolute corkers in it that are just so terrible.
Yeah.
But I can see past a lot of that because I really enjoy what the aesthetic quality of it. I think that visually, and while it's not just visual, but that's a big part of it, it is really remarkable what they do in that film. I think the Gary Oldman performance is
up there.
Is something
That's what
else.
It draws people to it, I think.
And every time I watch it, I think I appreciate his performance a little bit more.
Yeah.
The score is one of my all-time favorite scores.
Okay.
It is so strange and intense, and God, yeah, it's just really, really wild. And you can listen to it completely in isolation, and it will give you chills. Like, it will make you feel like you're in the middle of a horror movie, and not in any manipulative way either. It's all it's in the writing itself. It's really, really lush and beautiful. Look, Keanu Reeves is terrible. Winona Ryder is not great. Anthony Hopkins, I swear to God, feels like he thinks he's in a different movie. He's having so much fun. It's ridiculous as Van Helsing. Yeah. But it's violent. It's like super, super luscious gothic. And all the special effects were done in camera as well, aside from some like rotoscoping and stuff like that. But they try to do absolutely everything in camera, and so it makes.
This thing goes for 2 hours, 2 hours 8 minutes.
Yeah. Like, really? That's not. It's longish.
That's not too bad.
But watching it again now and really acknowledging that some of the stuff they do, while it doesn't always work, like they do some really clever stuff with shadows that these days they would just do with CGI and it would be seamless. Whereas because they did it with like rear projection kind of lighting and stuff like that, so the shadow isn't always exactly in sync with him and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But I find that more charming because it means like you see the work, you see the guys that went to the effort to do that.
Yeah, man.
You can see the bits where they've done, they've reversed the film to make it look creepier, where they've sped up, cut frames, the matte paintings are beautiful, like real sets, all this kind of stuff. It's just it's wonderful to look at, and I think that's more than reason enough to get involved with it and have a good time. You just kind of you just look past a few of its shortcomings, which I don't think in any way hurt the film, but they are there. You just got to get past them.
A lot of people love that film. I'm going to watch it again, and what draws me to it is Gary Oldman. I need to see it, and I believe that the skit of Winona Ryder's "Oh, this is most good" comes from that film.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could come from that. What else did she do? She did How to Make an American Quilt, was that? Or what about she was in, what was the Scorsese one? Wasn't she in The Age of Innocence?
Was she? I haven't seen that. I think she is in that. No, that's what the other. That's another skit, the one that we've spoken about before.
Yeah,
this
most
is
good.
Just awful. Can we get maybe a topless scene or a sex scene?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, we can. Okay, we're gonna film. Like that is from Age of Innocence, I think.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Let's roll on, Tyson.
All right, let's do it. Let's
do it. Let's
Oh, that was a good one, Nick. You're getting better than me.
Well, there's no one. Yeah, I'm home by myself again. So.
It's
not here. I can go full octaves.
I like it.
I've got mine.
Yeah, you go for it then.
Go for it?
Yeah.
Well, keeping in with the theme, ladies and gentlemen, it is October and Halloween is just around the corner. There'll be a lot of trick-or-treating, I'm sure, where you are. Well, I hope so. If there isn't, do it anyway. But on the lead up to Halloween, if you're looking to get scared, there's nothing more like an original. And if you flick to SBS On Demand, you can watch 1974's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre in its original.
Right. How exciting.
Seen this, Tyson? Have you seen this? Oh, you own it, don't you?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yeah.
I have not.
Okay. Directed by Toby Hooper. The reason that I picked this one is because, and what we've spoken about before with Suspiria, is there is a plot to this a little bit more, but it is, I feel, in the last 20 minutes or last half an hour of this, it's more of an experience because it gets to the point where they do something with the volume and the sounds of the movie that almost put you on edge and give you a headache, which I know is it's not something that maybe you would aim to have your audience have a headache by the time they watch the movie at the end. But that's what I get a sense of.
Sure.
Like it makes you feel uneasy. It makes you feel queasy. It's not a nice movie, and I think that's why I love it. It's also, it's set in 1974. It was coming off the back end of the Flower Power generation, and I love it.
I have never seen it. I do. It will be one that I watch, no doubt, at some point. I know that I need to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those ones that I've always just breezed past and gone, no, not today.
Not today.
And I will at some point, because I do want to be able to take part in the conversation that surrounds this film. But yeah, it's just one of those ones. It's just it's on my list, as they say. So that kind of fits well with the theme for today. Actually, that matches my on the list as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's good.
All right. Well, I'm just going to mention one really quickly on Prime Video. If you're feeling ambitious, you can watch the 2010 remake of The Wolfman, directed by Joe Johnston.
Nice.
This movie got panned. It was production hell, apparently, and it finally came out, and it wasn't the movie anyone wanted it to be, and it was a disaster, and it made no money, and critics hated it. I don't mind it. I think it's good.
Tys, I saw it at the cinema.
How did you enjoy that experience?
Yeah, I wanted it to be like an old school Wolfman remake. Stands on his hind legs with a shirt still on, howling at the moon. It was terrible.
Right.
Just finishing this.
So
that was loud. But yeah.
I think I went in with such low expectations.
Oh, really?
That when it wasn't a complete garbage pile, I was like, hey, that was not bad. Having said that, I have not seen it since then. It may not be any good. I remember, though, that the Del Toro performance is pretty good and has some really fun stuff in it, that the werewolf stuff is pretty excellent.
Yes,
it occasionally delves into CGI, which is disappointing, but when it's not, it's really something else.
I think Anthony Hopkins kind of rings it in. He doesn't really.
Because whatever he's trying to do, it doesn't really. I think that's where a lot of the problems with the film stemmed from, is what they wanted to do with his character, without giving too much away.
It was going to be good, man.
Yeah, but Joe Johnston is an underrated director. I really do believe that. I mean, you've got a couple of great films in his not all of them, but he is capable of making excellent. He's capable of making some garbage too, but
dude, two movies that I love. He did The Rocketeer and he did The First Avenger.
Well, there you go. And that's, we can't even just those two. It's kind of like, well, hey, you can. Well done, Joe Johnston. Thank you for your contribution. Exactly. But yeah, so that's just on Prime Video. Give it a watch, because it is kind of interesting. I think as a curiosity, if nothing else, give it a go.
Yeah, fair enough.
If you're looking for something random to watch on Halloween or
one thing
October.
I do remember when I was watching it in the cinema is it probably hindered me a little bit. What would you do in this situation? So I was watching it. It was school holidays. The cinema was packed with kids for some reason.
Right.
And packed to the point where everyone, I was sitting in there was not a seat left in the cinema. That's how packed it was. I believe he was 8 or 7.
Right.
Child who was sitting next to me, every time the Wolfman came on, he would turn to his grandfather, I think it was, and go, "Wolfman!" And
I think I might have to high five that kid. That would be. I'd be like, "Yeah, buddy."
Every time,
I'm
Wolfman!
with you. Wolfman!
And once the transformation scene was coming up, which I knew wasn't going to be very kid friendly, I wasn't watching the screen anymore. I was watching the kids' reactions in the audience. I was like, "Oh, this is going to be fun."
That kid's got a happy laugh out of him, I reckon.
He does.
Nick, that's going to wrap us up, my man.
Tys, that was it.
That's it. Next week, let's keep that on the back burner for a second. Yep. Why don't we reveal that over the week, I think.
We'll reveal it over where you can have a look at us on social media, which is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or I don't know, YouTube. But we're not going to give hints there.
No, we won't. But yes, join in all the October fun. We're talking horror movies exclusively. We'll be posting some cool artwork. There'll be plenty of artwork coming. Lots of fun stuff to do if you head over to our socials and kind of get involved. That'll be awesome. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. Our very thorough in air quotes.
Very questionable.
Discussion of Suspiria.
Yeah.
But Nick, that's going to wrap us, my man.
That was it. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you then, buddy.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.